for this upcoming match. Potentially 2 matches if we do go to a bracket reset. How are things going, Lily?
Things are going good. I do think that you might have to do that intro again because Rob just now undeafened. So,
all right.
Run that one back.
Attempt two. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to NADT 2025 Grand Finals between Team PP and Team yoobala boobala. On Team PP, we have Pikapone and Pez up against Taquito and Rectigon on the side of yoobala boobala. These two teams have faced off against each other before, all the way back in round of, it was the quarterfinals, where Team PP won 6-5, sending yoobala boobala down to the losers bracket, where they have since made a run to the losers bracket and then found themselves up against Team PP once again, this time around in the grand finals.
Yeah, it's been a long ride for yoobala boobala in the losers bracket. As you said, Pez ended up knocking them down in the losers bracket, I think in a bit of an upset. I think on paper, a lot of people would expect this Taquito Rectigon team to have made it to the winner's side of the grand finals, but no, Pez have been really making waves in this tournament, and just in general, I think a lot of people discounted them as maybe not being as good as they are, but I think you were telling me about this right before the stream, and I tend to agree with you. We're both thinking that this one might go into a bracket reset situation for these two teams, and yoobala boobala is looking for a bit of revenge here now that the stage of the pools have gotten to be much harder.
Yeah, we are getting 2 protects, and last time around, of course, Team yoobala boobala has played this pool. They won their previous match 7-4, so Team PP has quite a bit of information to work with. And I'm curious to see if the protects change, because they protected DT3, that heavy speed map, but these are both very speed-focused teams. When each of them played the Cup, both of them opted to abuse speed, but it's hard to abuse speed against another speed team, considering both of these are really strong speed players. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Team yoobala boobala protect something other than that DT3, but Taquito did get an FC on it, so honestly, good chance you'll protect that anyways, as Pikapone is going to protect the Hidden 1 aim consistency pick, something not played by yoobala boobala. And do we see that DT3 come out? I honestly wouldn't be surprised between these two teams. I would slightly favor yoobala boobala on the speed picks, but not by much.
Yeah, definitely. I think in these later stage pools where the startings do tend to get pretty high, these higher skill capped players like Taquito, like Rectigon. Of course, you know, Pez on the other side is another high skill cap player, but Pikapone is a bit of a question mark for me. It's going to be the DT2 over the DT3. Pikapone is a very strong player, but as far as where their skill cap ends up at, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we're going to get a very quick set of bans. TT4 banned out by Pikapone. That's going to be, I mean, that's probably the highest skill cap map in the pool. It's going to be your Alt DT pick. We do get a very quick HD2 ban to follow it up, your CS0 rating map. So it feels like even against Team PP, they don't feel comfortable playing these rated maps. Slightly surprising considering Team PP, quite frankly, did not look very good on any of the rating maps in their finals match, but maybe they practiced HD2. It looks like we should be getting our second ban, and I wonder if you do want to ban out that DT3, considering yoobala boobala put up 1.7 million, so unless you think you can beat or match that score, you may very well want to ban that one out.
I believe it's actually going into the pick phase, right? Because we do four maps played after the first 2 bans, and then we do the next 2 bans, I think?
I don't believe so.
It's been a while since I've talked about this tournament. Is that incorrect?
I believe it's just 2 bans. So protects 2 bans and then into picks.
Huh. Okay. Well, We will see what the other bands are then. Yeah, I don't know what tournament that I was thinking of that did that. Was that Redlock that did that?
I mean, Corsair's did that back in back when the last Corsair's Open happened, but I don't know of any other tournaments that have done it
I
since
feel
then.
like we were doing that. I feel like we were doing that in this tournament. I could be mistaken. Yeah, DT1 gonna be the next ban here. Rob begging us to read chat. Unfortunately, my chat just keeps disappearing every time I look over. If there's two messages, it overlaps itself, so...
Very nice. Nomad 5 going to be that last ban, so it is actually going to be Team yoobala boobala banning out that Nomad speed stamina map. I guess not feeling nearly as comfortable on that one, and I believe the Nomad 5 may have been banned against them in their last match. It was, so a surprising ban for sure. And maybe that'll give Team PP a little bit more confidence to pick those tapping favored maps. I think if you're Team PP, you're going to want to save that protected HD1 for later in the match when you need some momentum.
Yeah, we will see what they want to go with. Wouldn't be too surprised, as he said, if we see them stray away from something like the hidden one and just leave that for later. But as far as anything else, I'm not fully sure. And Rob is letting me know that I'm not fully crazy. It was in NAT, not NADT. So that tournament concluded just before this one started up. So my brain's still in that headspace for some reason, even though that was a couple of months ago. But yeah, we're just waiting on this first pick from Pikapez.
Yeah, they do have some information to work with. I think they did in their last match look good on a lot of the kind of more mechanics-focused maps. And they are going to go for No Mod 2, that AR6 slider aim pick. This map has a lot of overlaps and a really tough ending, I think. I'd say neither of these teams are really rating teams, but considering yoobala boobala ban this one out, it's a pretty safe pick, it feels like.
Definitely a safe pick indeed. I do like their pick strategy here, just starting off with the uncomfortability of the AR6 map. I think that with it being 5 minutes as well, it makes memorizing it that much harder, but we do see all players have stepped out of the lobby except for Taquito, who's going to be keeping track of the timer, I think, for his team. But yeah, we're gonna probably see a lot of timers getting ran as well. I know that was something that people were kind of concerned about in the losers grand finals, but it's the grand finals, and I think players should be allowed to run down all of the time that they are allotted in between maps in order to get just that little bit extra practice in. But we do see Pez coming back in, and now we just need to see Rectagon and Peekabon.
Yeah, I'm sure they will get in a moment. And, you know, Team PP, they do have some room to work with, of course. Even if they lose this one, we will be going into a bracket reset, but they kind of already have all the information they need, right? There's nothing gained, certainly, from going to a bracket reset, and they can just hope for some higher rolls. But it looks like we are finally getting into the first map of Winners Grand Finals. 2 teams left in the tournament. We'll see if Team PP can hold on to this first point.
Yeah, gonna be starting this one off a little bit awkward. Not super comfortable start to it. It's gonna be Pez first to fall. Taquito will trade shortly after, but accuracy-wise, it's actually slightly favoring yoobala boobala off of the 93 from Rectagon and the 95 now dropped down to 93 for Taquito. So relatively even so far. As the act drops do come through for these players on the side of yoobala boobala, it actually does switch over to Pikapez for the time being, but it's so early on and such a long map, and Pikapone finds a random miss on the stacked notes, so that's going to continue to get the score going back and forth here.
Yeah, this is a very, very slow map. And so it's going to take a long time for the score to go heavily in either direction, especially when you see lower combos in both sides. The map definitely picks up in difficulty quite a bit towards the end of the map, though. So if you do fall too far behind in the first half of the map, it's going to be incredibly difficult to make that comeback. Peekapone has found yet another miss, and yoobala boobala are on really solid combos right now. Peekapone, Shane missing now, and it's a 40,000 point lead. With a map as slow as this one, that is a fair bit of score advantage, but this is such a lengthy map, so, if Pez can hold on to this combo and yoobala boobala finds a team reset, then Team PP will be right back in this one.
Yeah, but I mean, so far, Taquito is matching Pez's combo, and never mind, I was gonna say Taquito is matching Pez's combo, but he ends up finding a miss of his own. Peekapone will trade that one out. But there is still a little bit of extra combo that, okay. Rectigon finds a break, and now Pez is going uncontested here. So that is going to be a little bit of a flip up. That'll slowly swing the score back the way of Pika Pez, so long as he is able to hold on to his combo.
Yeah. Oh, that's a full team reset, and that full reset is going to favor yoobala boobala very heavily. I think Team PP desperately needed to hold on to Pez's combo to have a chance of coming back in this one, but at this point, not only is Pez going to have to survive this ending, but they're going to need yoobala boobala to find quite a few mistakes. Now, there is potential to find a lot of misses in the ending, tank a lot of accuracy. Maybe that's the hope for Team PP, but it's looking pretty rough for them with half the map to go. Pez finds another miss, and this is just such a difficult section. They are not finding the recovery combo, and this looks like it's heading towards a very early break point unless we see a complete meltdown from yoobala boobala, but even then it feels like PP just can't rebuild that combo high enough for it to make a difference.
Yeah, still half the map to go, but Peekabon's dropped down to about 84% accuracy. It's double 89 on the side of yoobala boobala, and Pez is the only one above 90 for the time being, but as you said, the map just continues to get harder and harder, and we see more and more misses from Peekapone, we see more misses from Pez, and Recticon and Taquito are faring a little bit better here. Recticon will trade out just now, but you see these sliders that you do just have to only aim the slider head and the reverse arrow, and these players are able to cheese that, and they are utilizing that in order to maintain this combo advantage, this score advantage for yoobala boobala. 70,000 points. It doesn't seem like a lot, but on a map this slow with the ending still coming, I think this one might already be too far gone for Pika Pez.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think Team PP going to start having to look towards their next pick, especially with that one from Pez. There's just not enough combo left in the map to really bring this one back. Accuracies are slightly lower on Team PP as well, with an 83% acc from Peekapone. That's not going to be helping out. And now Team yoobala boobala are going to have the chance to go up 2-0 early on, consolidate their breakpoint. I don't think you want to go for your protected pick necessarily, but they have some very strong picks available and should be able to keep the momentum going, at least in theory. And I mean, this is kind of why picking the rating map was slightly surprising to me, because neither of these teams are rating teams, or I should say gimmick teams. And, there's a reason both of these teams were getting absolutely gimmick abused against the cup.
Yeah, I mean, Bekatembashi, man, was a legendary pairing for gimmick if I've ever heard one. So, they might not be gimmick heavy favored players, but Taquito and Recticon are going to be getting the first breakpoint of the match to get them going in the right direction here. Maybe a little bit of a confusing pick, but I mean, you really just kind of had to read that Recticon and Taquito wouldn't have done as well as they did here. Recticon actually getting the high score in the lobby by about 15,000, 20,000 points. So they did a lot better than I think Pez and Peekapone really expected them to do. So it's not necessarily a bad pick from Pika Pez, but it just doesn't feel that great.
Yep, we're going to have to see if they can recover with their future picks. In the meantime, yoobala boobala have their pick up next, and it feels like they have quite a few good options. Interestingly, they did ban out the speed, but that DT2 protected pick, personally, I much prefer saving that for later, especially early on when you don't need it. I think the other maps that will look good are going to be things like the DT3, and in this case, they're going to opt for free mod 2, which is going to be the alt pick, one of the free mods we have not seen them play. Does have some tricky timing changes as well, and has a couple fast bursts, but I'm not sure you could really call it a tapping map. I don't think these teams will have much trouble with it whatsoever. Normally, we're going to expect to see Pez on the Hard Rock, Pigapone on the Hidden. I think that's pretty much a certainty. For yoobala boobala, most likely we see Taquito Hidden, Rectagon Hard Rock, but we have seen them double Hard Rock on certain maps in the past, such as the free mod 3 last week. So on a map like this, there is potential for double Hard Rock again, but I suspect we're just going to see one of each on both teams.
Yeah, I think your insight's pretty solid there. Taquito will most likely be the hidden player for yoobala boobala. I would be surprised if we see a double Hard Rock from those two players, but I mean, it's not out of the realm of question. I feel like this is a kind of map that Taquito would probably fare a lot better on with hidden. Try to guarantee maybe more combo through that mod rather than maybe just having a better time on the map with Hard Rock per se, but we'll see exactly what the mod combinations do end up coming down to for these players. All players do have to take a mod, but they don't have to take unique mods, right? We've kind of hinted at this, and if you haven't been following with the tournament, like, you could see two hiddens on one team, you could see two Hard Rocks on one team, and that both of those are completely fine.
Yeah, sadly, you almost never see two easies on one team, which I think is a tragedy, but that is how it goes. Here we go into yoobala boobala's first pick, and it looks like the mods are going to be exactly as we expected. Now, this is a very lengthy map, definitely a consistency test, and because of the length, it means there's a ton of combo, but it also means there is a ton of solo carry potential. If one player pops off and puts up a massive combo, then you could absolutely solo win this one for your team. It is a pretty tricky start to the map, so we do see early misses from Pigapone and Rectagon, but once we get out of this intro, I think both players should be able to recover and start to build up those combos once again.
It's going to be Pigapone finding another break, though. No trades yet to be seen on the other side. Rectagon the only player in this lobby going Hard Rock. I think that's more out of comfortability than anything else. Rectagon is a phenomenal Hard Rock player, so definitely probably the reason why he's doing it. But for the time being, it's 15,000 points in favor of yoobala boobala. Off of the couple of misses from Pigapone, Pez is still holding on to the full combo, though, I believe. So it is going to be keeping it relatively close if either of the players on yoobala boobala do find any mistake, but we're into this first KI section, and all players have locked in their combos for the most part here. Recoveries are there for the players that have missed, but that's a break from Taquito. Trades out with Pigapone, who finds a pretty big chain miss. So it's still going to maintain on the side of yoobala boobala for the time being, especially with Pez dropping combo, and there goes Rectagon to trade. So still holding on to about 40,000 points of score advantage, but it could continue to go up.
Yeah, gotta have to keep an eye on these accuracies as well, as so many chain misses coming through. The accuracies are dropping on both sides, going to be slightly in favor of Team yoobala boobala, and note that earlier kind of full lobby reset is going to favor yoobala boobala as well, seeing as they had the lead. Now, I think the deficit isn't as bad as it was last map for Team PP. Pigapone still has a solid combo, currently matching Rectagon, and is doing a good job of recovering the accuracy, but yoobala boobala looking really good right now. There goes Pez, finding an unfortunate slider break. Going to put PP even further behind as Taquito not going to be trading it back, and at the halfway point, Team PP have about 55,000 points to make up. Into this break, they see the score difference, they know they're behind, and the pressure is going to be on, especially for Pigapone now.
Yeah, have to hold on to as much combo as you can and hope for a couple of mistakes from both Rectagon and Taquito at this point. You can't really afford trades anymore, you're kind of too far gone. So long as you have one player comboing, and Peekaboo does have the most combo in the lobby right now, only by about 30. So it's not going to be too big of an advantage for them, but still that score is moving the way of yoobala boobala because both Taquito and Rikkigan are on solid combos going into the solo section.
Yeah, if Peekaboo can hit this solo, Team PP are right back in this because there's one pattern just at the end of the solo that is absolutely brutal, and it's going to be coming up pretty shortly. Although if one player from yoobala boobala holds, they should be in the clear for the rest of the map. Here it is coming up. Peekaboo finds the miss. yoobala boobala both holding, and that should be another point on the board secured for them. I think Team PP out of time, out of combo, and that's going to be breakpoint consolidated now.
Pretty dominating fashion on it as well, iFlame. Rikkigan holding onto the combo on the Hard Rock through that section. I mean, Taquito also holding, which is pretty impressive, but on the Hard Rock is a whole nother beast. They are going to be getting a second point on the board here off this Fremont 2 pick, and a pretty good one for them to have gone this early on. I think Peekaboo shouldn't be too worried though, but I don't want to see Peekaboo pick back into the gimmick. If there is any more gimmick available, I don't remember the bans off the top of my head, but I would like to see them switch up their pick strategy and try not to pick into something that they think the other team would be bad at, but necessarily pick into something that their own team would be good at.
Yeah, there definitely is some gimmick left in the pool if they wanted to. There is that Fremont 3 R176 map, which is kind of more of an anti-mod. But definitely most of the gimmick is banned out. Beyond that, you're looking at Precision, and to be honest, I don't necessarily know who Precision favors between these two teams. Maybe slightly yoobala boobala, but Pez and Rikkigan are both such insane Precision players. That battle would be a lot of fun to watch. So I do hope we see the Hard Rock 2 at some point in this match, but yeah, I do think that we see them kind of change things up, look for something else as their next pick. But they do have good options still, right? They probably don't want to go for ult after that last one, but they could go for more of an aim-focused map, something they've looked good on, especially something like that HD3 slider tech pick, I think could be strong for them as well, though it is a very tricky map. So have that to keep in mind and well, because it does certainly feel like yoobala boobala have the higher skill cap between these two teams, and so, you know, the heart of the map, it's a slight advantage over to yoobala boobala as we wait, and it is going to be Nomad 3, a very quick pick. It's going to be picking Doomsday, another quite lengthy map, but this one more aim-focused as we expected. Lots of 1-2s, back and forths, but overall relatively consistent in difficulty. I think this is a good pick for them.
Yeah, yoobala boobala actually won on this pick versus Decatan and Bashiman in their previous match to get to this grand finals match here. But they had, honestly, a pretty good team score, dropping almost 500k on Taquito and just a bit over 400k from Rikkigan. So if Peekaboo are picking this as their second pick, then they have to be feeling pretty good on it. At the very least, feeling like they can get better scores than what they saw from Rikkigan and Taquito. So I'm interested to see exactly how good they will fare, but I do like this pick a lot from them.
Yeah, and that's always the question, right? Is you know the scores, but a lot of times just knowing the score isn't everything. Other team could high roll, you could low roll, and I feel like these really lengthy consistency maps are a lot more prone to high rolls because, you know, in practice, you could put up a, you know, huge 2k combo, but all it takes is one unlucky miss at any point in the map, really. And if you miss at the wrong time, you get unlucky and that miss happens right in the middle of the map. All of a sudden, you're potentially low rolling that score by easily 200,000 points. And so there's always that risk with these longer consistency maps. So I do like the pick, as we now are getting into Nomad 3, and Team Peekaboo need to get a point on the board. I think can't really. I mean, they could afford to give up 2 break points in a row. They do have the bracket reset, but obviously you would much prefer not to. And I don't think if you get blown out of the water in the first match, it doesn't do a whole lot of good for your mental going into the second match. So let's see a point on the board for Team Pika Pez.
Yeah, definitely. If you're able to, should try to close it out in the first match. And already seeing a mistake on the side of yoobala boobala. Taquito going to be dropping combo pretty early on one of these jump patterns. So it's looking pretty all right for Pika Pez, but both of them do end up finding a break. No trade from Rectagon, though. So that is going to actually give the score advantage to the way of yoobala boobala just off this beginning section.
Yeah, thankfully for Team Pika Pez, this early jump section doesn't matter too much because Rectagon, despite being the only one to really get through that entire section, is only up 100 combo. And on a map like this, that's not going to matter whatsoever. The big test for both teams, really, is going to come during the second tricky jump section when the combos are a lot higher and missing is a lot more punishing. But we do see a second another miss coming through from Pez on this easier section. Slightly concerning, but it's only going to be a 28,000 point lead for now, and we have, after this break, some more tricky jumps coming up.
Going to be important for these players to try to hold on to as much combo as they can. Pikapon going to be dropping combo in this first PI. No trades to be seen on the side of yoobala boobala, and that's Pez going to be dropping on the recovery. Didn't have too much to work with for that combo, so this score lead is starting to get pretty out of control already, I claim. It's already almost 100,000 points before Rectagon finally ends up dropping the combo, but look, Taquito is still holding on to his combo. He missed the very beginning, and that's it. The dude is holding on, and he's at 100,000 points for his team now.
Yeah, this is very strong aim team as well, right? I mean, Rectagon, Taquito, they're just two of the best players in the game. Nothing else to it. And with Taquito holding the 600 combo, Pez trying his best to bring it back, but combo is just not anywhere near high enough. Taquito finally finds the miss that is going to help Team Pika Pez out, and they do still have half the map to go, so there is plenty of time to bring this one back, but they're going to need a mess from Rectagon as well, and Pez is going to have to absolutely nail this last PI. It is pretty consistent in difficulty, pretty similar difficulty compared to last ones, but that's going to be a full team reset for Team Pika Pez. And Lily, we may very well be heading the way of a second breakpoint because Rectagon is on the recovery, Taquito back up to 200 combo, and unfortunately, Team Pika Pez continue to find misses on their second pick. There's the miss from Rectagon. Once again, big combo down, but Taquito's right there to back that combo up.
Yeah, every point of the way in this pick so far, it's either been Taquito missing and Rectagon being there with the combo to back him up, or Rectagon missing and Taquito being there with the combo to back him up. Whereas on the side of Pika Pez, when one person misses, the other one falls pretty quickly after. So it's really coming down to just, I think, the ability to hold on to the combo a lot more for yoobala boobala, although it's not even just the combo. Look at the accuracies. Both Taquito and Rectagon have higher accuracy than the highest accuracy on the side of Pika Pez, and that's on just now over 98% for Pez. But yeah, this is one of the hardest sections, and Rectagon finally finds a miss, but Taquito combos through it, and yeah, I mean, these guys are getting another breakpoint. Like, there's nothing more to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is just an insanely difficult Grand Finals pool, right? Feels like the skill cap of this pool definitely is starting to catch up to Team Pika Pez a little bit, and it is very difficult to keep up with Taquito and Rectagon in that regard. And keep in mind, yoobala boobala, they still have their protected pick, right? And I think, not that they have to, they still have a lot of other good picks open. But now is not a bad time to bust out that protected pick and just keep the momentum going. If you can put up 4 in a row, you're going to be in such a good spot. And I mean, it's pretty tough mentally to lose 4 in a row as well, as it's going to be nearly 400,000 points at the final score difference between these two teams.
Yeah, they're going to be improving upon their previous team score by over 100,000 when all is said and done. Actually, not quite over 100,000, just barely under it, but still, for our sake, basically 100,000. Taquito improves by a bit over, almost a bit over 45,000, and Rectagon improved by about 50-ish thousand on himself. So overall, relatively consistent as far as team scores go between their previous match and this one. But Picapez just weren't able to match it, unfortunately. And that could change if we do get to see a bracket reset. They might actually just, it might have been nerves potentially. Maybe they're not warmed up as much as they want to be. But I mean, if you're picking it that early on, you have to be feeling a little bit good about it yourself. So either way, it's going to be 3 points for yoobala boobala, and they're going to go into that DT2, which was their protect.
Yep, really like this strategy personally from yoobala boobala. You're welcome, Taquito. I'm sure they never would have picked that without my input. So I'll just take all the credit. But this DT2, joke aside, is 246 BPM. Is an incredibly fast map. Definitely more of your finger control speed DT pick. With a lot of a different length of burst, which can be pretty stamina intensive and pretty tricky ending as well. So we have seen Team Picapez look really good on some of these speed maps. I think I was going to say last week because it was finals, but early on in this week, Team Picapez played quite a few speed maps, and Pez was absolutely popping off. FC'd a couple of them. I want to say Pez FC'd the finals DT2, might have been the DT3. I'm sure somebody can double check on that, but this, as good as Team yoobala boobala are on the speed, this is certainly not a guaranteed point for them. And so, even though it is protected, I think Team PP, especially if we see a big pop-off from Pez, they will have a chance on this one.
Yeah, Pez, you are absolutely right. I find it was an FC on the DT2 in the finals week from Pez, 1.05 million score, just from himself. So, and they dropped 1.5 million. Picapone dropping about 500k on that one. So we don't have insight for, I think, either team on this pick. Well, I mean, I know we don't for Picapez, but I don't think Rectagon and Taquito played this in their match versus Bashi and Decatan. So yeah, this is a little bit of uncharted territory for these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, it was banned against them last match, unsurprisingly, so they're going to be a very scary team on it. This map takes a little bit to pick up as well. These teams seem to be really enjoying the lengthy maps. And here we go, we start to get into some of the faster bursts. This is where we might start to see some bigger accuracy differences, some early misses, as Rectagon is going to be the first to miss on those buzz sliders, but it's going to be traded back immediately by Picapone. Now it's going to be Pez Taquito and a bit of a 1v1. You can build up a ton of combo on this map. These two players are already up to 500 combo, but Picapone struggling a lot more than Rectagon. Pez finds a big miss. Now it's Taquito able to just run away with this one. Rectagon not far behind, has the second highest combo in the lobby, and it's already 150,000 point lead in favor of yoobala boobala. But there is still 2/3 of the map to go, so Team Picapez are not out of this one yet, but they're going to need to have a very impressive second half of the map.
Yeah, about half of the map remaining, right? But the end of this map, for the most part, is a lot of nothing, so I think it's about, like, once you get to the last quarter of the map, it's pretty much over at that point, so realistically, they only have about a quarter of the map remaining to get this one back, and Taquito is still holding on to the combo. Rectagon's on a pretty massive recovery as well. This is one of the harder sections of the map. This is where I would expect misses to come through, and we do see Rectagon trading out with Picapone, but not the player that you want to see missing if you are Picapone and Pez. Taquito is still holding on to the combo through this section, and Pez is doing all he can. That's a miss from Taquito. That is the opening for Pez to get this one back in, but I don't know if there's enough time, and not with that miss. That's going to be it for them. That's going to be a 4th point on the board. Another consolidated break point from yoobala boobala.
Yeah, Pez could have hit those 1-2s. The rest of the map, really not all that difficult. They could have potentially had a chance to bring this one back, but just not going to be the case. Taquito putting up an insanely impressive performance, and we can see very clearly why that is the protected pick for yoobala boobala, as they're going to take another pretty dominant point here. I mean, I think for Team PP, even if you you know, you want to at least have these maps be a little bit closer, so there's some chance of taking them in bracket reset, which is looking more and more likely. And I think if you're Team Pika, it is time to press the big red emergency button. That is your protected pick, and play that hidden one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't really expect anything else from them. Pez dropping a pretty good score, all things considered, but Peekapone just wasn't quite there, unfortunately. 480,000 points in favor of yoobala boobala, and we can kind of see why that one might have been banned against them in their match versus Decatan Bashiman, but this one, they are up 4-0, iFlame. They are 3 points away from getting a bracket reset. And then from there, it's anyone's game if it'll be a repeat or not from what we've seen so far. But 3 points is still 3 points. That's still time for Pika to get back into this one, and it is going to be that hidden one.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a very standard aim consistency map. I mean, honestly, it's a lot less awkward, I would say, than the aim in the, they did pick another aim map, didn't they? Yeah, the No Mod 3.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a little bit shorter in length, but not by too much, as they're just going to continue with this aim consistency trend. This definitely feels like one of the more comfortable maps in the pool, at least in terms of patterning, so we could definitely see quite a few high combos on this one.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this map set entirely. I am very familiar with this song and another map set. If it plays anything like the one that I'm familiar with, then the ending of the map will probably be the hardest. But the Ki sections in general will most likely be pretty challenging. But yeah, as far as jump aim goes, I think this is solid for Pika, but it'll be slightly different from the No Mod 3, as you said. A lot less focus on like that alt style of aim. Gonna be more focused on some snappier aim.
Yep, I would completely agree. Should we get into this one shortly? Just waiting for the players to ready up, and I mean, even if you've accepted at this point for Team Pika that you're going to bracket reset, I feel like it is still pretty important to win your protected pick, because you have to be able to pick it in the next match. And of course, a point would be nice. Ideally, it would feel pretty good to win that with a little bit of a decisive margin, you know, a couple 100,000 points, so you can feel at least secure about protecting it again in the next match. And let's see if Team Pika can finally get a point on the board on this hidden one.
Just need, I think, 1 point. Stop the snowball that Taquito and Rectigon have got rolling. They are definitely capable of doing it. They were able to beat this yoobala boobala team all the way back in the quarterfinals to knock them down into the lower bracket. So if anybody's able to do it, it's definitely this Pika team.
Certainly the case. As we start approaching the first Ki, it's going to be the first potential breakpoint for both teams here. And really, if one player can survive this Ki, there's obviously, with these kinds of maps, a slow section between each Ki, so if you can hold on to your combo, can really start to run away with the score lead early on. Accuracy, again, slightly in favor of Team yoobala boobala, as Pez a little bit farther behind on the hidden, but here are the first 1-2s. Everybody nailing those first triangle jumps, but here comes the Ki. We'll see which team will be the first to miss. It's going to be Pez, unfortunately, with that lower accuracy. Peekapone quickly follows suit, as does Taquito. Rectigon, the final one holding. We'll see if Rectigon misses as well. So a little bit of score advantage gained for yoobala boobala, but ultimately not too much damage done.
Yeah, it is going to be 30,000 points in favor of them coming out of the first quarter. Pez could be finding another miss. Accuracy-wise, Taquito and Rectigon are actually doing better than Peekapone and Pez. Peekapone having better accuracy than Rectigon, but Taquito having the highest in the lobby at 99.5 is pretty huge for their team. It's one of the reasons why the score lead was as much as it is. So going into this next KI section, if they're going to be able to hold on to their combos again, it'll be pretty solid for them. That final part of the map is going to be the hardest, but Rectigon could be the first to fall in this KI section, so that is going to keep lowering the score the way of Pikapez, and we get into some big 1-2s here. All players are hitting them. Pikapum will drop a combo. No trades to be seen on Taquito or Rectigon, and Pez drops combo right at the end of that section. So that is a complete disaster for Pikapez, as Taquito now has the most combo in the lobby by a fair margin, and this score is going to continue to stay in favor of yoobala boobala.
Yep, being the only one to survive the KI is pretty much the best scenario you could ask for. And through this slow, very easy section, the score lead is absolutely going to skyrocket in favor of yoobala boobala. With these long maps, it's so much harder to make up that score difference. Already updated 80,000 points, and it's going to continue to climb. They needed a very early miss from Taquito in the final KI. If Taquito can even get through half of it, it's probably going to be over on the spawn for Team Pikapez. They're going to need to hit this KI as well. Rectigon is going to be the first miss, but that's not the combo they need. Unfortunately, Taquito is still holding through this KI. Pez, Pika holding, but it doesn't matter if Taquito does miss. There goes Pez. Pika holding, but I don't know if it matters. The miss comes through for Taquito, but with Pika missing, there's just no combo on the side of Team Pikapez. And that is the protected pick for Team Pikapez, going the way of yoobala boobala. And it feels like really in the mud now, as it's going to be 5-0 and win by about 100,000 points here.
Not winning on your own protect doesn't feel good, but I mean, Rectigon and Taquito are playing so well. It's hard to discount either of them into thinking that they wouldn't be able to perform on something like protect from the opposing team, but they are pulling out all the stops here in this Losers Grand Finals match and are looking to be on course for a bracket reset. Only need 2 more points with this one. Now is going to try to consolidate on that break point once more, and if they're able to do that, they'll be at match point. Just one more pick away from flipping the bracket.
Yeah, and if you're Team yoobala, you of course still have that DT3 available. They looked so incredibly good on that pick last time around, and especially after the DT2, that pick feels like it just favors them so heavily. So I think very likely we will see a quick DT3. There it is. And, well, in about a minute... Oh, no, that's the wrong pool. In about, in about a minute and 16 seconds, we could very well be at 1 point away from bracket reset, as this one is about as speedy as it gets. 287 BPM burst. This is your classic 2010 DT map, so very kind of awkward, slightly linear patterns between those bursts. But Taquito FC this last time around, and Rectigon honestly wasn't too far behind either. I don't think put up a really good score for a 1.7 million team score, and if they can put up a score even remotely close to 1.7 million, I think they're going to be the heavy favorites on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, iFlame. This is a scary team to have to play a 8+ star, grand DT pool, and especially on a map that is quite literally just speed and about a minute and 20 seconds of just speed. On paper, this team should get the point very handily, but that is just on paper. I don't think it's going to go any other way, but I mean, anything can happen. Those scores most likely weren't flukes, but to get a full combo in a grand stage pool is pretty tough. To do it twice is even harder, so you can't expect full combos from either Rectigon or Taquito, but I mean, they are more than capable of getting full combo performances.
Exactly. I mean, on a map as tough as this one, I think the full combo feels good, but you realistically probably don't need the full combo to win this pick, unless we see Pez absolutely pop off and get a similarly good score. But here we go into the DT3. This is such a short map. Every single miss is going to count. We're going to have to keep an eye on those accuracies. For the 287 BPM, it is so easy to drop accuracy on every single one of these bursts, and already we see pretty much everybody except Taquito struggling with the accuracy. Rectigon and Pikapone going to be the first couple of misses. Taquito finds a big accuracy drop, but holds on to the combo. Pez with a really unfortunate slider break, and Taquito, yet again, the only player holding combo on this DT3. Unfortunately, oh, there goes Taquito finally, but already 130,000 points in the lead for yoobala boobala. The map is already a third of the way done, and Team Pika Pez just don't have any combos to bring this one back. So again, you know, even without another FC, you don't need the FC, you just need a good enough score. And Team yoobala boobala are well on their way to doing just that as we approach the second half of the map.
Yeah, even with Rectigon finding all the drops in the combo that he did, his accuracy still is matching Taquito for the most part. Pez is doing his best to keep the accuracy relatively close, but gonna be finding more mistakes here. Pikapom finally drops on the recovery. Rectigon will trade, but Taquito is the one holding on when the dust settles, and Taquito is the one that is going to lead this Rectigon Taquito team into the match point now for yoobala boobala. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty scary for Pika Pez. I think at this point you're almost already certainly feeling like it is going to be the bracket reset. Maybe just have to get a little bit of a mental reset and go into that expecting the bracket reset. But I mean, they still have the next pick, so anything is possible for at least this next pick. But as far as what they want to go next, I have no idea, iFlame.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, realistically, it's very possible you have one map left in this match. You know you have the bracket reset, so I think if you're Team Pika Pez, rather than trying to get a point on the board at this stage, just pick something that we haven't seen played from yoobala boobala, get more information, because you know, if you pick a map that we've already seen them play, you lose, you don't really gain anything out of it, although you obviously you don't want to give over your picks to yoobala boobala unnecessarily. So I think, to be honest, you pick a map that you were not necessarily planning on picking, or you know, a much later pick, and just see how it goes. And that way, you'll get a pretty good idea of whether or not it's a potential pick for the bracket reset. But we'll see what they end up going for here.
Look at maps that weren't picked in that previous yoobala boobala match. Hard Rock 1 is one of the maps. I'm not sure if you would want to play that. And we saw the free mod 2 get picked here. Otherwise, Nomad 6 was another pick that has not been played by yoobala boobala. So Hard Rock 1 and Nomad 6 would be the two if they wanted to get that info. But it is going to be the hidden 3, which we did see yoobala boobala end up playing in their match versus the Cup in the previous one, Grand's matchup. So they do have information on this one, so I do think that they are just looking to play for a point here.
Yeah, absolutely. This was 600,000 points put up in the previous match by yoobala boobala, so it is an incredibly difficult map to play. This one is going to be your hidden slider tech pick. With, you know, as with any slider tech map, you've got some aim control mixed in, but I think at this point, you know, you're going to bracket reset. You really just want to get 1 point on the board, get some confidence that you have, you know, a chance in the bracket reset, because I don't think yoobala boobala are going to be giving up a break point with their next pick. As here we go into some of those really tricky sliders. We already see accuracies dropping across the board, but everybody holds on to those combos.
It's going to be hard to hold on to the combos. This map features so many spots where you can find slider breaks so easily, especially with hidden on top of it. Makes it that much more important that you are keeping track of where your cursor is compared to where the notes are. You don't want to find any slider breaks, and so far it's only been, I was going to say Pikapone who's found a break to start this one off. Pez finds one just now, and Taquito will trade it out shortly after, but Rectigon being the only player left in the lobby with the full combos still remaining.
Yeah, it's really big chain misses for Team Pika Pez. They're going to find some pretty big accuracy drops. Meanwhile, Rectigon, still at 98, is going to be getting so much score advantage. Taquito does trade the miss back, but it really just doesn't matter. Even if Rectigon misses shortly, I mean, the damage has been done. They're up by 100,000 points, and Team Pika Pez are having a tough time finding the combo to bring this one back. But if Rectigon finally finds the miss on that pattern, But again, Team Pika just have so much work to do, and this is a very difficult map, so it's going to be near impossible to match that 600 combo.
It's going to be pretty tough for them to get this one back. Already 130,000 points away of yoobala boobala, and all players are struggling though, so at the very least, there's really not much combo on the side of yoobala boobala. Rectigon going to be finding a couple more misses. Hez on good recovery. Pikapone actually matching Taquito's combo for the most part, so the score is slowly moving the way of PP if Taquito does find it and break or two here. If Rectigon finds a mistake and Pez and Pikapone are able to hold on in this end section, then they could potentially bring this one back, but it's so hard. Pez is going to be the first to fall. That's step one gone for Pez, and now Taquito's still holding on to the combos. Pez finds more misses. This one feels almost certainly over already, but Pikapone's still there with the combo. Just need to see mistakes from Taquito and Rectigon, but that's so much to ask for, and Pikapone's going to be dropping, and that's going to seal the deal. That's going to be Taquito and Rectigon getting the bracket reset in a quick 7-0 fashion.
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough for yoobala boobala. You know, at least, you know, when you have a close bracket reset, you can maybe change up one or two picks, and, you know, have some different looks going to the bracket reset. When a match goes like this, I mean, it's so tough to find any sort of advantage in a bracket reset. You lost what you feel like are your strongest picks. You lost your protected pick. yoobala boobala's picks were pretty decisive, and it's hard to see how Team Pika are going to recover from this one, but we do still have a entire match left to be played, as that is going to make the bracket reset official. And bracket reset, of course, is going to be immediately after the current match. Team yoobala boobala wouldn't like a break. We'll see if it looks like Pez does want to break, as well as Pikapone. They're going to take a chance to just, you know, get some water, take a breather, reset the mental, and I think that's a pretty good call. And so it looks like we are going to get a 5-minute break. Hubba, what do you, or sorry, Billy, what do you change, if anything, for Team Pika? What's the game plan? Can you even have a game plan at this point?
Goodness, the game plan. I mean, honestly, I feel like if I were in their shoes, I would stick with my guns and I would continue to pick into the same things that we saw them try to pick into. Maybe not the gimmick to start it off, but maybe some more clear-cut picks from them, like the Hidden One, potentially that Nomad 3, because I do think that while yoobala boobala was able to get all the points in that match, Pika definitely is capable of getting one of those, at least one of those picks, as their own point. So I wouldn't change up too much, although it's really hard to say against this Rectigon Taquito team, because they have scaled into this tournament, into this starting so high, that it does feel pretty tough to have to pick anything into them.
Yeah. Some VCs in the chat. We just get the whole all the viewers in the commentary VC. That'd be some bigger commentary.
That'd be fire.
It really would. I think the big problem, the big thing for Team Pika going to the bracket reset that makes things especially difficult is that if you're losing maps by 100,000, 200,000 points, you could get even if that's what you expect to get again, maybe you get lucky, high roll it, get a couple points on the board. That's just not been the case in the last match. The DT3, as well as as well as the Nomad 3, which was Pika own pick, they lost all those maps by 400k, and 400,000 points in a 2v2 is just a lot more than the difference between a high roll and a low roll, unfortunately. So, unless Team Pika have, some like enlightenment between this match and the bracket reset, it's going to be really tough to pick those. They definitely have had some closer ones, but, you look at the Nomad 2, yes, that one was 100k, but the scores were 363k to 265k. So 100k, 1,000 points on that map is pretty similar to 400k on the other maps, unfortunately for them. And if those are on your opponent's picks, it's not the end of the world. When those are on your own picks, you're potentially in a lot of trouble. So Looks like the match is going to be starting up again at 56, so in 2 minutes time. We're going to take a very quick break, and then we will be, okay, just correction, we're going to be starting at 57, so 3 minutes from now. So we're going to take a very quick break to, get some water for ourselves, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with the bracket reset.
All right, and welcome back, everybody. It was a very short break, but we're back once again here into the fray. Gonna be myself, Lily Itzvision, joined again by iFlame, and we got the bracket reset now. yoobala boobala beating out Picapez 7-0 in a pretty dominant fashion. So will they be able to get more points starting forward here, or will Picapez put a stop to it? We will see, but we do have to get the pick ban phase underway once more here.
There you go. I mean, you know what they say about goals, right? They need to be attainable and, realistic. And so I think let's set the goal for Team Picapez. Get 1 point, got 1 point on the board. And then we can go from there. We're just waiting right now for the players to get back in the lobby because we do need to get a new lobby set up for the bracket reset. The teams are going to switch sides, and then we should be ready to go. I am curious to see if we do see Team Picapez change up their bans. They banned DT1, DT4 last time around. They lost DT2 and DT3 by 400,000 points each. And then I guess the question is, after those performances, do you feel like you have a better chance on DT1 and DT4 than you do of making up that 400,000 point difference? So I think if we do see the same bans, DT1, DT4, it's a pretty good indicator that Team Picapez feel especially bad about those two maps. But I think we're going to have to see the pick strategy changed up as well. That No Mod 2 first pick from them was pretty decisively in favor of yoobala boobala as well. So we're definitely going to want to see a first pick from them. I mean, the hidden one, that was 200,000 points. Maybe that one is more pickable, along with the hidden 3, which was a 250,000 point difference. But I think I want to see them pick some of the maps we haven't seen yet outside of those two, especially early on. I want to see a free mod 3, as I said, not necessarily from Team Pikapez. I just really want to see that map played between these two players. Because that map is an absolute banger. So somebody pick free mod 3 for me, but otherwise we're finally getting into the roles. It looks like Team Pikapez are going to be winning the role, so they're going to have their choice of pick or ban order.
Let me go in second pick this time around. I don't think they were second pick last time, were they? They were first pick.
Yeah, I believe so, because I think Team yoobala, I believe, won the role last time around, and so they opted into the... Yeah, it was Team Pikapez who picked No Mod 2 to start us off last time. For the protects, do you protect the hidden one again? They lost it. They're going to protect hidden 2. I do like them changing up their strategy. We've not seen the hidden 2 actually played, and it was banned by Team yoobala, so I think this is a really smart ban, and they're absolutely, doing what needs to be done to have a chance in this bracket reset. So clearly, they're putting in their best effort. They've definitely not given up, and they're going to fight back. I suspect we're going to see. I mean, honestly, you could protect either DT2 or DT3. Both are very reasonable picks. Honestly, I don't think we see either DT1 or DT4 protected. I don't know if they're super worried about that one, but it looks like they are taking their time with this protect.
Yeah, that hidden 2 protect feels so nice. I was looking at the pool just while you were talking, iFlame, and I know we were kind of conversing about how we thought their pick strategy might go differently. I did not see that hidden 2 until just now. That hidden 2 is so solid to get a protect on, because even if yoobala boobala, excuse me, wait, that's Pikapez's team that had to protect on the hidden 2. It's flipped for us here on our stream, but there we go. We got that fixed. Okay, so I was gonna say, even if yoobala boobala is able to play it, I do like Pikapez's chances on it that much more than yoobala boobala, and it is gonna be a DT3 protect this time around, so not the DT2 protect, but just gonna be really looking to abuse them on that one pick at the very least. DT4 ban going to be the first one for Pikapez, so not going to be getting to see that one at all between these two matches, and again, going to be no mod 5 for yoobala boobala, but won't be seeing the hidden 2 ban from them, because that is the protect for Pikapez, so at the very least, we do get to see one switched up ban from yoobala boobala.
Yeah, they do have an extra ban now, but given as they didn't actually lose any maps, there's not necessarily anything they need to ban, so it is going to be the DT1, DT4 again, so not changing things up, at least in the ban department. Evidently, they don't feel comfortable whatsoever on those two picks, and I mean, fair enough, AR 10.5 is pretty tricky, and so we're just waiting on that second ban from yoobala boobala now. If they just want to ban out comfort picks or the maps that at least were somewhat close, they could ban out something like that hidden one, which was the protected pick last time. That was, I think, the closest map that we saw. But they could also, especially because it was protected last time around, right? They could potentially ban out No Mod 2, not because they won't win, but just because they don't want to play the map. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to come down to just what do they want to play the least. That No Mod 2 sounds pretty alright in my mind. Pez did drop a relatively solid score on it, and I think the score that we saw from Pikapone was kind of low ball for them, so definitely could see a pretty big improvement on that. If we are thinking about bans from yoobala boobala, that is going to be that free mod 1 ban, so hey, I find that free mod 3 is still open. It's just now going to be a matter of, can we get one of these teams to pick it?
Yeah, it's a really interesting 3-mod-1 ban, because it wasn't played in the original match, but they did play it, in the Losers Bracket Grand Finals. They put up 736k, and so it's definitely not a bad score on the map, and you would have to guess that if if Team Pikapez had a better score than 736k on the map, they would have picked it, but I think yoobala, they can do whatever they want with their bans. They're going to be perfectly fine. We're going to be getting Mind Chase, the Hidden 3, once again. We saw this played. In fact, this was I believe, the last map we saw played between these two teams. And Team yoobala won it by about 250,000 points. So we are going to be running it back now, and just going to have to hope that Team Pikapez can improve their scores. And I do think this is one of those maps that is within reason. 250,000 points is definitely surmountable if you get a high roll or if the other team low rolls. And so I don't dislike this pick at all. But I feel like, Lily, Pikapez, they have to get a point on the board early. I think there's so much pressure when you've been swept 7-0. And if they can finally get a point on the board, it's just going to be a huge weight lifted off their back. It's still not going to feel amazing, of course, but I think with that weight lifted, maybe they can play with a little bit more confidence on the rest of the maps. And as a quick reminder, in case anyone wasn't here for the first match, this is the HD Slider Tech map. It is incredibly difficult. Expecting to see scores anywhere from 300 to 400k for most players. 500k on this map would be an incredibly good score. 600k, I would be absolutely shocked. So let's see if Team Pikapez can get a point on the Hidden 3 on their second time around the carousel.
Yeah, just 1 point, I think, is all that they need. You just have to put a stop to the snowball that Taquito and Rectigon have rolling. Because, yeah, it's a reset bracket now. 0-0 between these teams on the score line right now, but they're so far up 7-0 in terms of overall match points. So Pikapone and Pez do need to look to try to get a point on the board very early, as you said. Starting this one off, though, it's pretty rough. Pikapone going to be finding the first mistake, but Taquito does end up trading it out shortly after. Pikapone finding another miss and Taquito trading once more. So for the time being, it's actually in favor of Pikapez because Pez's accuracy is that much better than either Taquito and Rectigon going to be dropping the combo as well. So this is the first time that we see a pretty sizable combo advantage in favor of Pikapone between these last two matches. So if they're able to hold on for much longer, Pez does finally end up falling, but 20,000 points was able to be worked up in favor of them. And now finding a couple more mistakes, that is going to drop the scoreline a little bit more, but still in favor by about 7,000 points, as now it's Pikapone versus Rectigon.
Yeah, it's already looking a lot better for Team Pikapez. It is just going to be misses traded between Pez and Taquito. A bit of a 1v1 here between Pikapone and Rectigon, but with Rectigon slightly higher. There goes Rectigon, immediately traded back by Pikapone, and it's a full reset across the board. This is anybody's game. There's half of the map to go, and it is 2.5k the difference. This section map does not get any easier. Accuracy is slightly in favor of yoobala, but really not by enough to make a massive difference. And the combos are dead even as well, Lily. This could be the point that Team Pikapez needs to get this one going. We'll see Pikapone finding an unfortunate miss before the last Ki. And here we go into the really tough section. Pez needs to hold on a little bit longer as that score lead flips over in favor of yoobala. Taquito with the next miss. That score lead is going to go back, but is it quick enough? There goes Pez. Rectigon, the last one standing. And I think, despite Team Pikapez's best efforts, this one might just go the way of yoobala once again.
Different showing here from yoobala, a little bit sloppier, if you will, from what we just saw as the final pick of the match in the previous match. but still going to be getting the point all the same. Although it was very close to being the point for Pez. I think just maybe 100 more combo if Pez was able to hold through this end section, potentially could have brought it back. But yeah, too far gone now. And first point on the board for yoobala boobala, going to be continuing to get the victories here. 8-0 so far between the two matches.
Yeah, and actually, Team Pez had a pretty similar score to their last go-around, improving it by about 40,000 points. It's just a 100,000 point lower score for Team yoobala boobala, so not getting quite the high roll on the pick this time around, making things closer, but the score difference doesn't matter all that much. What matters is the points on the board at the end of the day. We are going to get now... Oh, is that a... Okay, that was a HD3 pick by yoobala boobala. I don't know why I thought that was a Pez pick. They're going to go for Total Eclipse of the Sun. This map is such a banger, mapped by Dada, and this one is going to be 120 BPM CS0 reading map. I mean, the map is just incredibly dense. You barely have to move your cursor, but it's also insanely hard to read. Definitely a bit of a memory map. It feels like, with some some tricky back and forth. It's if you haven't seen this map, it's really hard to describe. It's kind of a pretty unique map that I've never seen before in any tournament. So once we get into the map, though, I think the first 5-10 seconds highlight the identity of the map incredibly well.
This is a little bit of a specialty here from Dada. Shoutouts to Dada, one of our poolers in NADT. It's going to be putting his own map into yet another tournament, but I mean, it's a pretty great map. And do not let the star rating fool you. Yes, it is 5.82 stars. Does it play like a 5.82 star map? Absolutely not. So this one is going to be pretty difficult despite the lower star rating, and as well, a different switch up from Pez in this match so far. We saw them let the score lead get to, I think it was 3-0 before they, or excuse me, 4-0 before they picked their protected last match. So now just going to be trying to put a stop to this momentum as fast as possible with their new protect here in the Hidden 2.
Yeah, Pez and Picapone, hop at the lobby for a second, I imagine, to take a look at the editor, but if you haven't memorized this map already, the editor is not going to help you now, as this is about as memorization heavy as it gets. I do think a player like Picapone could put up a really strong score on a map like this, but Taquito, has that same potential. I think Pez and Rectagon, who are not traditionally rating players, are going to have a much tougher time, and all you have to do as the viewer is keep your eye on this one part of the screen. Where you see all the circles, all the sliders, that's where they will remain. You pretty much don't need to use anywhere else on the playing field. And but there are some very tricky sections of this map. We're about to start getting into the harder rating momentarily. This is where the map starts to really pick up in difficulty. And very shortly, in about, I'd say, 15 seconds, we're going to start getting into some of these back and forth jumps. Now, on this map, it is also incredibly important to hold on to that score lead early, because the ending of this map just gets harder and harder and feels pretty unhittable. So approaching the halfway mark, it's going to be the first miss from Rectagon. This is a real chance for Pez, as both of them are still holding the FCs. Rectagon not having a good time with this map, absolutely tanking the accuracy, but Pez is going to trade that miss back, although with significantly higher accuracy, that trade will still be okay for Pez. Picapone does find an unfortunate miss on that jump pattern, and now Taquito is going to bring the score lead back over so quickly, and 2/3 of the way into the map, it is going to be 13,000 points only in favor of yoobala boobala. Now, I already mentioned the last quarter of this map is so brutal. If Taquito finds a miss, Team Pez could get right back in this one, but the miss needs to come soon. It's not a long map. They're quickly running out of time, and that extra miss from Picapone is not going to be helping things whatsoever. Pez and Rectagon currently matching combos, so a miss from Rectagon would go a long way as well. There it is. Pez needs to hold, but ultimately nothing else matters if Taquito doesn't miss. This is a ridiculous score from Taquito right now. Still on that full combo. We'll see if Taquito can hit the ending. This is a really tricky section. I mean, despite the good recovery from Team Pez, Taquito will just not be stopped, and Taquito may very well put a second point on the board for yoobala boobala. The trend of breakpoints continues, and although I think the switch up was smart for Picapez, just not going to be enough for them this time around, and they're still in search of that first point. That is a crazy score by Taquito. That's probably going to be the best score of grand finals, to be honest.
I mean, Taquito does it again. Another FC in this grand finals stage pools. And wow, that was the first time that we've even seen that map in the grand finals. We didn't get to see it at all during the match versus yoobala boobala in the cup. And we didn't get to see it at all because it was banned in the previous match between these two teams. And now we are going into the Hard Rock 3. Going to be another new one, I think, for this matchup. Although for the previous matchup, I'm not too sure. But
they did
still, though,
in the earlier losers bracket match, put up
there you go.
A pretty good showing of 1.05 million. Rectagon had a really strong 600,000 score. It's going to be tough to match. I don't know how repeatable that is, but honestly, for a player like Rectagon on Hard Rock, a slider tech map, feels like it could be pretty repeatable. I don't know anyone I'd rather face less on a Hard Rock slider tech map than Rectagon. Definitely has some aim requirement as well, but of course, Rectagon is pretty incredible at aim Hard Rock as well. So I think Team Picapez certainly have a tough task ahead. Now, to be fair, Pez is an incredibly good Hard Rock player as well, so Picapez have that going for them, but I don't think Pikapon is going to be quite as comfortable with this kind of a pick.
Yeah, definitely going to be a lot more favoring, I think, Rectagon and Taquito. Rectagon, of course, as he said, one of the better Hard Rock players in current tournament history. It's really hard to name a player that is as accomplished as Rectagon is on this Hard Rock mod in these late stage tournament pools, but yeah, it does come down to consistency here at the end of the day, and if Pikapon and Pez are going to be able to match combo at all versus Taquito and Rectagon, then that is what they need to do, because accuracy-wise, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Pez going to be dropping the first combo, and there goes Pikapon's combo. So as far as full combos go, or at least big combos in the beginning, already wiped away for Pikapez, but Taquito does trade out shortly after, but man, is this Rectagon guy still holding on to the FC off the beginning section.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say more or less what we expected to see between these two teams. Rectagon popping off and everyone else having a little bit of a tougher time. It is really good recovery for Team Picapez. Honestly, on a map like this, 40,000 points is not much, and why did I say anything? They find a double miss, and just like that, their chances on this map have gone right out the window because Taquito is on the recovery. Of course, Rectagon is still holding a full combo, and the second half of this map does not get any easier. This is, without a doubt, a second point on the board for Team yoobala. The question is now, how long can Rectagon hold on to this combo? Not for long, unfortunately. I just need to stop speaking, as it's going to be a full lobby reset on that pattern, but going to be a really strong score, I think, from Rectagon nonetheless.
Yeah, does finally end up dropping the combo right about the halfway mark in the map. But still, 150,000 points is what's needed of Picapez to get back, and that's pretty hard to ask for, as the map is still so unrelenting. The 1/3 section here going to be tripping up all players on the bottom side of your screen. Taquito finally finding the break. Pez will be trading shortly after, so yeah, still going to be the point for yoobala boobala, a third point on the board to consolidate on the break point. And now Picapez have another chance to try to get a point on the board. They really need one now. Allowing yoobala boobala any more wiggle room in the score is so dangerous. I mean, it's really hard to ask that of them. They do just kind of have to, I think, overperform in order to match some of these scores that Taquito and Rectagon are pulling out here.
Yep. We are going to have to see what they want to go for next. I mean, they could try their luck with the hidden one, but I believe it's yeah, they could try their luck with the hidden one if they want to run that one back. They could try something new. I do happen to know they're very, very unlikely to pick the free mod 3. Pez is not a fan of the map. I mean, fair enough. It is a kind of a pretty awkward map that is, you know, you'd love to see played with easy, but not really any easy players in this lobby. Has you know, lots of creative ways to pronounce Rectigon. That's gonna be the no mod one though. This is a new one. We've got Cold Tea, as we've got a CS5 rhythmic aim control map. This map has lots of tricky overlaps. I mean, it's a KTG Easter map. You kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, somebody said it best. I can't remember who, but somebody I remember was explaining KTG Easter maps as being one of 3 different KTG Easter maps. Every single one that he makes is very similar to one of 3 different styles. This one is going to be more of the alt style that you expect with KTG Easter, and also an anti-mod. As far as map stats go with the CS5 AR9, so a little bit of uncomfortability on that one. But, you know, I'm excited with this No Mod 1 pick because if we do get to potentially see something like the Free Mod 3 or the Hard Rock 1, then that would close out all of the maps in the pool that I think every single map would have been played in the pool so far between the 3 Grands matches.
There you go. Got to go for the complete collection. I think we're still missing. Well, there are a couple maps. I think the No Mod 6 it's just been banned quite a bit, unfortunately. But here we go into the No Mod 1. Team Picapez, of course, still looking for that point on the board. At this point, I'm just glad we're getting to see some new maps that we haven't seen before, because this is a pretty fun one. It is going to be a strong start for Team Picapez, but now they need to keep up this momentum. Pez needs to hold on to this combo to really build that advantage, because Arctigon and Taquito, despite the early misses, should be able to recover their combos. Taquito does find another miss, so Picapez will be able to hold on to this lead for now, but this is a decently lengthy map at 2 minutes 50 seconds, so they have a long way to go to close this one out, but it's good recovery. Picapone unfortunately finds a slider break there, with Taquito and Rectigon not being able to build up much combo. Pez has a chance to really run away with this one and get that long-awaited point for Picapez.
Yeah, it's still though so early on in the map. We're only a third of the way through, so there's so much time left to be played, and Pez kind of has to work a lot harder here to hold on to the combo for as long as he can to kind of solidify this one as a point for Picapez. Because right now, Picapone is struggling to hold on to too much of a big combo. Luckily for him, Taquito and Rectigon both have been finding trades here or there. But as far as it goes, it's kind of just on Pez's shoulders to do this one. And right now he is hitting these patterns, but so is Taquito. Rectigon finally ends up falling. That's some trades from Picapone, but still matching Taquito's combo, Taquito's combo wing is Pez, who's still on the FC and still looking to close this one out in the halfway mark with the full combo and doing solid, already 110,000 points in favor of Picapez as Taquito finds a break on seemingly nothing, and this is looking so good for Picapez.
Yeah, and this was played before. yoobala boobala put up 600,000 points on it last time, and that was with Taquito putting up 400k. Not going to be reaching that mark this time around, and although Pez does finally find the miss, it feels like the work has been done, and we may be finally getting that point. With 160,000 points, yoobala boobala just don't have the combo. And really, I never thought we'd see the day. Picapone, they've got themselves a point on No Mod 1. First goal achieved. Goal number 2, make it to tiebreaker.
Yes.
And that's where we're headed. The comeback starts now.
Yeah, putting a stop to yoobala boobala here to deny them a 4th point on a breakpoint is so massive for Picapez. This is about as many points as I think many people would be willing to give to an opponent, is that 3, because once you get beyond that 3 points, it gets so much harder to get back any break point that is given. So really important that Picapez got this point, and we do see a point on the board for them, and it was looking grim. It was feeling kind of done and dusted, but they've still got energy and they are still fighting and kicking and trying their hardest here in this match. So anything can happen, and I am really excited for the remainder of this match.
Yeah, brings a tear to my eye to see that little yellow dot on the right side of our screen. And now we just need maybe that 1 point could be the catalyst that Team Pika needs to become Prime Malashevsky and bring us to tiebreaker. So of course, Team yoobala, they do have the next pick. They've not touched the DT pool yet. They still have a whole lot of options. They could pick Nomad 3, they could pick DT 2 or 3. I mean, they could pick Nomad 2 if they wanted to, although I don't think they particularly enjoy that map, so I would be surprised. They could pick Fremont 3. I'll keep hoping.
I mean, we're sending the thoughts into the ethos. You know, somebody can pick it up. Maybe if they will pick Fremont 3. Come on, guys. Like, just pick it. Like, it's a cool map. Come on. We'll see. I think what's more likely is something like the DT2 or the DT3, which DT3 was the protect this time around for yoobala, and we still haven't seen them pick either of those, even though they were very dominant on both of them. So most likely going to be the pick for them is either the DT2 or the DT3, but Fremont 3 is sitting right there. Come on.
Yeah, I will be quite surprised to see the hidden one from them, because that was Team Pika's protected pick last time around, although they did lose it. They're taking their time with this pick, although they really don't need to be. I think the picks are pretty decisive, and we're going right back to Halcyon, that 2010 speed map at 287 BPM. I don't fancy Pika's chances on this pick. I think we're just watching to see some cool scores from our speed players in this match. It was a 1.05 million team score last time around.
Yeah, I mean, Keto wasn't able to get the FC on it this go around, but I think they are primed to take this point once more. Pika just looked a little bit more uncomfortable on this map, specifically Pikapone. Not necessarily the most comfy on this 287 BPM DT pick, I think 287. Pez, on the other hand, could potentially pull out a pretty important score to be able to make it a little bit closer, but you're really just like hoping that Taquito and Rectagon just have like a complete fall apart in the map if Pez wants a chance to get the point here.
Yeah, that hope is going to have to go a long way on this one. Taquito had a 1 miss on this last time around, although I think a couple slider breaks as well, and had the best accuracy in the lobby by nearly 5%, the only A rank. The closest for Team Pez was Pez at 90% accuracy, so they've got a long way to go. If we see a disconnect from Taquito, there may be hope, but otherwise, we're going to see Taquito pop off on this one once again. We'll see if Taquito can go for the no miss this time around, as it is an incredibly short map, an incredibly difficult ending. I think that is going to be we should see Taquito do well early on. Second half of the map is going to be the big question mark for Taquito to see if he can hold on to that combo a little longer this time around.
Combo is the name of the game here for these two teams. I think accuracy's probably going to be favoring yoobala, but combo-wise, Rectagon going to be struggling a little bit here. Pikapone again into the fray with a bunch of chain misses. Not the most comfortable with this BPM, but Pez versus Taquito on the top of your screen. It's very close in terms of accuracy, and that's Taquito going to be finding a pretty big chain miss. Now Pez holds on to the full combo into this beginning pause section, and the map is so short. They see that both players on the side of yoobala have dropped combo, but there is good recovery on Rectagon should Pez find any mistakes, and this is going to be the scored lead, flipping back the way of Pika now, already halfway through the map, and Pikapone is on some decent recovery as well, matching Taquito, but it's just going to come down to how long can Pez hold on to the combo into this final KI section. Still going to be holding on to the combo, still holding on to the highest accuracy in the lobby as Rectigon drops combo, trades out with Pikapone, and still holding on to its Pez, but he finally ends up falling, and that's 50,000 points now, slowly, actually very quickly dwindling the way of yoobala boobala as Taquito holds on to this recovery combo. 400, just about. Rectigon could be making it a little bit difficult, but it goes so fast over the way of yoobala boobala as Pikapone just struggles so hard to hold on to the combo, and Taquito misses right at the very end, but 100,000 points when all is said and done. And man, it was close, iFlame.
Yeah, with that early miss from Taquito, Team Pika Pez, they had a chance. Pez put up a really strong showing. I think both Taquito and Pez beating Taquito's score from last time around. But ultimately, it was that Rectigon Pikapone battle that did cost them. Pikapone, definitely a strong speed player, but not quite 287 BPM level speed. And despite Pez's best efforts, it's another strong showing from Taquito. And we're going to get 4th point, I believe, for yoobala boobala. And it's going to be a quick no mod 4 pick for Team Pika Pez. Not one we saw played last match, but Team yoobala boobala put up 850k on this one last time around. This is going to be your standard alt pick with lots of cuts and some pretty snappy aim.
Yep, this is a pretty popular map as well. I think a lot of people, even if they hadn't seen the previous match or the pool showcase for that matter, I think a lot of people will be familiar with this map. It's, as he said, it's alt and a lot of cut streams. A lot of these cut, segmented into 3-note patterns. It's very easy to miss aim the start of a slider head on one of the patterns and then just miss 3 notes right there. So his combo is going to be the most important. I think you can kind of ride off the accuracy. If there are any accuracy drops, it's probably just going to be from big chain misses or slight miss aims on the starting patterns for the streams to hit chain hundreds or 50s. But we're getting into it. It's map number 6 now, and Pika Pez looking to get a 2nd point on the board.
Yeah, I do expect to see quite a few of those chain misses, given the difficulty of this map. Definitely feels like one of the tougher ones in the pool. Only has 1 FC on the map so far, so certainly not going to be seeing any of those, at least in this match. But it's just going to come down to the consistency across the map, and very likely the accuracy as well, as Pikapone finds the first chain miss and a pretty big accuracy drop. So still going to be 3 players holding. And I mean, the big struggle here is, as you mentioned, Lily, if you miss 1 note, oftentimes it means you're missing 5, and so that can lead to very big accuracy drops, but it's a decent recovery for Pikapone. Now Pez holding on as well, and they're going to be at least able to slow the bleeding a little bit, with Taquito finding a big chain miss now. But this is a pretty tricky section coming up here. A lot more potential for misses, and Pikapone trades that miss back, but there goes Rectigon, finds a huge chain of misses. Pez, the last one holding the FC, and this is another really good chance for Team Pika Pez, but they do still have a long way to go. 30,000 points could go back over in an instant on this map, but the longer Pez holds, the better things look. And honestly, if you can get up to 700, 800 combo, Team Pika Pez might just be set, as Team yoobala boobala continue to find misses here, and Pez still holding strong, absolutely nailing these patterns, and really impressive accuracy as well.
And Pez is doing all that he can here for Pika Pez. 80,000 points, but still about half the map remaining. And as you said, about 700, 800 combo. It's looking really solid for Pika Pez to solidify yet another point on the board, but still 100,000 points separates these two teams. If Pez does find a mistake and they start to find the chain misses, that's the one mistake from Pez. A very unfortunate spot to drop on right before this KI section. No trade seen either Rectigon or Taquito, so that is scary for Pika Pez for the time being. Closing down now, slowly going back the way of yoobala boobala, but now if Rectigon finding the miss, Pikapone is matching Taquito's combo, so it's actually going to continue to stay pretty even between these two teams as far as score gain, and it's still going to maintain on the side of Pika Pez as Rectigon finds more misses. Pez is on the good recovery, so now it's going to come down to the final third of the map here. See if Pika Pez is able to hold on through this final ending of the map, or if they will fall apart, and Taquito has to hold on.
That certainly is the question, but Taquito absolutely has the time to bring this one back, especially if we see a miss from Pikapone. When the combo's that good high, the score lead feels like it's okay. There goes Pikapone. Pez still has a supporting combo, but the score lead is going to start to go back over. Oh, there goes Pez as well. And Team Pika Pez on the brink of finding a second point. Find a team miss right towards the end, and now Taquito should be able to bring this one back. This is a pretty easy ending section. I mean, there's one more tough section coming up. We could see a quick miss from Taquito. There it is! It's anyone's game here. 3,000 points separate these teams. Rectigon currently the highest combo in the lobby, but Taquito finds a big chain miss to give it over to Team Pika Pez. Another big set of chain misses from everybody on the side of yoobala boobala. Pez comes out the best with the least misses and 15,000 points. They just need to hold on for a couple more patterns. Taquito finds the biggest set of misses in the ending, and they may still get that second set of points. Pikapone finds a big drop, and they don't do it. 3,000 points! That miss in the end from Pikapone, and a second point for Team Pika Pez just wasn't meant to be today, as it's going to be a 5th point from yoobala boobala. That's about as close a map as you could ask for, and it's just not enough for Team Pika Pez. yoobala boobala have the next pick, and unfortunately for Team Pika Pez, it's looking more and more like that second point may never come.
That is absolutely heartbreaking for Pika Pez. It felt like it was right there for them, and it just got taken away on the last 15 combo of the map. Unfortunate chain miss from, I think, both Pikapone mostly and Pez to send that score just barely over the way to yoobala boobala, who are now up 5-1, and they need 2 more points to close it out. It is their pick, but I mean, they still have that DT2 available. Come on, guys, we got the Fremont 3 available. You can pick it.
Yeah,
it's most likely that DT2.
Yeah, no, they're going
Fremont
for Fremont 2 instead. I mean, they played this one as well. Won it by about 400,000, so this is not going to be much sweat off their backs, as we did see a double hard rock, I believe. No, double hidden from Pikapone and Pez, but just the one hidden, one hard rock from Taquito and Rectigon. And of course, this is just going to be your all-focused frame mod, a little bit more low alt compared to the No Mod 4, which is a lot more snappy. And I think that this kind of map, I mean, it's incredibly difficult as well, right? And that kind of thing tends to favor yoobala boobala. I believe last time, I don't know if it was Rectigon or Taquito, one of them was holding through most of the map, but just found a miss at the end of that solo. So we'll see if we see some strong scores this time around. I think it was, 1.2 million from Team yoobala boobala.
Yeah, most likely going to be double hidden once more for Pika Pez, and probably going to be the hard rock on Rectigon again, and the hidden for Taquito, just both of their comfort mods. So yeah, I do expect similar scores from Rectigon and Taquito, but as far as improving on the scores from Pikapone and Pez go, I do think that they actually have some potential to get pretty major improvements on their scores, so potentially could be seeing a breakpoint here, but it's going to be a hard one, and it's actually matching mods now. Pez is going to be swapping out the hidden for hard rock this time around, so definitely a little bit of a question mark on that one as far as how he'll be able to fare versus Rectigon, but still, Pez is such a solid hard rock player, and is definitely capable of matching Rectigon, who is not having the greatest of beginnings here on this map.
Yeah, Rectigon put up 700,000 points on this last time around, though, so I don't think Rectigon's going to be too phased by the beginning of this map, especially with Pez trading this one back. And the patterns at the start of this map are incredibly difficult, and then it kind of starts to ease up a little bit more as we get into the KIs. But Taquito and Pikapone are 2 hidden players, do survive that at the start of that map, so they're going to be able to build up some combo as Pez finds the first miss that really matters, as 200 combo from Rectigon will start to add up eventually, but if Pikapone finds a miss on this next couple patterns, Team Pikapez could be in a lot of trouble. That Hard Rock for Pez not working out early on, but we're going to have to see over the course of the map another miss from Rectigon. The Hard Rock players just trading back and forth. It is the battle of the hiddens right now. About just under 100 combo lead for Pikapone is going to keep them ahead by about 10,000 points, especially with these Rectigon misses. But there goes Pikapone. That was the combo you couldn't afford to miss. And now it's Taquito with a pretty big lead over Pez, holding a near FC, and the Scully flips back over immediately, but Taquito finds a quick miss. Pez at 400 combo. The Scully is going to clip back and forth. Pez unable to hit that pattern. Pez needs to keep playing the map. It's still a closed map, guys. You can get a second point. Don't give up now.
Yeah, it is very close here. It does start to shift a bit more the way of yoobala boobala with those misses from Pikapez, but still going to be keeping things relatively close, only within 40,000 points so far. And the combos will probably be falling once more as we get into this next PI section, the next solo section of the map. There's still about half of the map remaining for these players, so plenty of time left to get the recovery combos going. And just to have to hope for a couple more mistakes from Rectigon and Taquito. That miss from Taquito going into that section was pretty unfortunate. He was working on the highest combo in the lobby after Pikapone ended up dropping. So still, though, going to be holding on to the score advantage for the time being, yoobala boobala in this slowdown section.
Yeah, definitely possible. Pez was fixing the grip there. It's a long map, so it's worth to take a couple extra misses if you need to fix your grip rather than struggling the rest of the map. But as they stand, this score lead shouldn't grow too much. It's all going to come down to this solo. This is a very, very easy section. Shouldn't see any misses here, but the combo is so big. We saw a lot of misses on this solo section last time around. I think Rectigon was the only one to survive it. Let's see how many players survive the solo this time around. The solo claims its first victim as Pikapone drops. 3 players still holding strong, and I think for Team Pikapez to stand a chance of this one, Pez needs to be the lone survivor as we come out of the solo. Here comes the really tricky pattern. Will Pez hold? Does so, but Taquito and Rectigon, unfortunately for them, are going to hit it as well this time around. And now Team yoobala boobala, they're just off to the races. The map is honestly slightly easier from here on out. Taquito does find a miss though, and the map is not free by any means, but with this combo from Rectigon, the score lead continues to grow. Pez is there, ready to capitalize if any mistakes come through, but Rectigon needs to miss soon. They're quickly running out of time, and Pez finds the miss. That's going to do it as Rectigon puts up another strong performance with Hard Rock on this free mod 2. yoobala boobala yet again find themselves on match point, and this time there's no bracket reset coming to save Team Pikapez. This one is for the victory.
Such a hard-fought battle to the end here from Pez as well. Pikapone gonna be getting a pretty solid score too, but that combo from Pez just hoping for Rectigon to give even just a little bit of room their way, just couldn't get it done. Unfortunately for Pikapez, they are backs against the wall at the match point for yoobala boobala now, and Pikapez have to win every match from here on out, including tiebreaker, in order to win this tournament. As you said, no more bracket resets available to them. There's no more wiggle room. It's do or die from here on out.
I mean, why not though? That's the questions. Those are the kinds of questions we should be asking. Where's bracket reset number 3? Bracket reset number 4? We just keep resetting the bracket until Pikapez can find themselves a few points. But I guess that's just not how it works out sometimes. Team Pikapez, they do have a pick. They're kind of out of picks though at this point. I'm sure they would love to get a second point on the board. They're gonna go for no mod 6. Finally, we get to see no mod 6 for the first time. This tournament is going to be Liar Dancer, and this one is going to be slider aim tech type map. It is pretty reading heavy with how many overlaps there are in the map. Has some pretty tricky linear slider patterns as well to catch players out.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Again, another new map in this match at the very least. I believe we saw this one in the Cup versus yoobala boobala and the Losers Grand Finals. Did we not?
Nope.
Okay, so brand new map here. And, kind of big question marks. I think as far as a potential last pick for Picapez, this is about as good of one as you can get. Because you don't know how Rectagon and Taquito did in the previous match. You don't have that information to go off of. You just kind of have to guess based on their skill sets. And so I do like this one for Picapez, but I mean, yoobala boobala, they just need one more point to close it out. So you really have to be certain in your own picks here. So if this is the pick for Picapez, they have to be as confident as ever with this one.
Yep, it's a fun map at least, and it does leave Hard Rock 1 as the only map untouched in the Grand Finals. So glad we get to see this one played in the end. And obviously for Team Picapez, it's going to be their last stand here. They're going to find this comeback. It's going to have to start now and end at that tiebreaker. It is a very tricky start to the map. We're going to see plenty of early misses. Pez, the only one to survive that beginning. And that's going to give Team Picapez a slight lead early on, but we've seen them take early leads a couple times in this match, and it's just been a strong combo from Taquito or Rectagon in the ending that's brought things back over. But I'll take whatever combo advantage you can get, as Taquito and Rectagon don't look super comfortable on this map, and Rectagon especially down at 92, now 93% accuracy, but that 97 from Pez is going to balance things, or from Taquito is going to balance things out. Pez finally finds the miss. Picapone is now matching Taquito, so they should be able to hold on to this tiny lead for now, but with that Picapone miss, the score will flip back over, and we draw ever closer to the end of NADT.
Yeah, it's the start of the end potentially here. Taquito and Rectagon holding on to combo going into this first Ki section. They still have to continue to hold. There's still so much map left to be played, but Pez is struggling now, finding a couple chain misses here, slight misread on these patterns, which are so easy to misread. Rectagon going to be trading out finally, but Taquito is on such a massive recovery combo now that is largely uncontested. Picapone was trying to get back a little bit of combo going for himself, about 250 before they found another miss, and yeah, Taquito is just doing Taquito things, and this is looking really bad, iFlame, for Picapez. I do not like what I'm seeing for them.
Yeah, it's the Taquito show now, and Taquito, not the kind of player to let up. Picapez no longer finding those recovery combos, and that certainly does feel like it will be the end of our Grand Finals, as at this point, all we can do and watch and see what kind of a score Taquito's able to put up on this map. There are some really brutal patterns coming up into the second half of the map, especially in the last quarter, so can't wait to see how long Taquito can hold. And that's going to be a slider break right there, going to be a very strong score from Taquito regardless. And I think we can now safely say a huge congratulations to yoobala boobala, your winners of NADT 2025. And commiserations, of course, to Picapez, who, you know, obviously didn't have the strongest showing in the Grand Finals, but overall, I think once this thing from Grand Finals wears off, they're going to be really happy with their tournament. They came in as seed number 7 and beat a lot of good teams. They beat yoobala boobala once in quarterfinals. They took out the 3 seed. They took out seed number 6, as well as the Cup, the number 1 seed, earlier this week in the finals match. And so they've had a really strong showing, and they've put up some really good performances. But in the end, the scaling of Team yoobala boobala, Taquito and Rectagon are absolutely unmatched.
Yeah, just too much to handle, I think, once you get to these late stage pools. It really is showing for some of these higher skill capped players, such as Rectagon and Taquito, who are just able to put up monster scores, sometimes even FCs in these late stage grands, like 8+ star pools. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, as he said, Picapez, they've got a lot to be feeling accomplished about, right? They knocked a lot of teams down into the losers bracket. As you said, a lot of higher seeded teams as well. So, but when all is said and done, you're NADT champions will be yoobala boobala, Rectagon and Taquito to close this one out in a pretty dominant fashion, only giving up 1 point between the two matches of the bracket reset, and now gonna be ending this one off 14-1. So iFlame, this was an absolute blast. Thank you so much for joining me here in the casting booth to commentate on these two matches. And yeah, I'm not sure what else there's to say. I think Rob will probably guide us along the lines of what he wants to say. But as far as I can think, I mean, want to say thank you to all the refs. Of course, Freddie, who was reffing this match, I believe, had the most matches refed in this tournament. A lot of the commentators who were able to come in and help out. Rob, I think, was the main streamer, but I do believe we had a couple matches streamed not by Rob, potentially. So yeah, I'm just gonna allow Rob to say anything. Otherwise, I think we're just gonna call it here.
Yeah.
Wait, is it working? I don't know if my filters are on right.
Oh,
Hello?
stop.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make a little post about it in a little bit, but like, yeah, shout outs to like everybody who helped, all the commentators who helped, streamers who helped, refs who put in so much work, all the players who made the tournament possible. Can't really have a tournament without the players. Yeah, it's definitely, I would like to say fun. It was fun. Definitely some headache moments this iteration, so it's my first time doing this specific tournament, so definitely a new experience. But yeah, I'm not sure if this will happen next year, because this is supposed to be a tournament that happens every 2 years. So we'll see. I also don't know if I'll be around next year, to be honest, but again, we'll see. I had a quick question. I'm making an announcement about it right now, but just as like a general question, I kind of want to know if this tournament were to happen again, if people would want it to be bigger than team size 2, if that's, or like, because I have some ideas for it, and one of the ideas is making it larger than team size 2, but I don't know, I digress. It's kind of getting off topic, but yeah, again, thanks to everybody who showed up. Congrats to yoobala boobala, Taquito, and Rectagon for winning, and Pez and Pika to showing up and making the match happen. There were so many, there's quite a few FFs that have this tournament, unfortunately, but I do appreciate them for at least making these matches happen and stuff like that. So yeah, I appreciate you guys, and hopefully see you soon.
Yep. See you guys soon.
Thanks for watching.